Welcome to our 2021 Virtual Arbor Day ceremony. My name is Jennifer Smith and I am Metro Nashville's horticulturalist and coordinator of the Metro Tree Advisory Committee. Each year, we began our ceremony by recognizing the Arbor Day Foundation's awards. Tree Line for Nashville Electric Service, Tree City for Nashville, and Tree Campus for Belmont and Trevecca Universities. You may have seen our Tree City USA signs throughout our city. Metro Beautification Environment Commission and Metro Parks have a long history of planting and dedicating trees for Arbor Day. This Nashville tradition allows us to remember and honor individuals who, along with being loved and cherished by their families, have in their own way made meaningful and enduring contributions to their communities and environment. And also, it is fitting that in celebration of Arbor Day, we dedicate trees in their memory. Here are the 2019 and 2020 memorials and honorees.
My dad, Martin Brown, had a surprisingly deep voice for such a slender man. If he were alive today, he would, with his baritone Southern accent, be thanking you for this award. My dad cared deeply about Nashville, and his roots were deep in Nashville. He planted deep roots with my mom. They were transplants from Kentucky. They moved here in the mid-60s and raised me and my 3 siblings here and embraced everything about their adopted city. I remember walks where my dad would teach us how to identify trees and quiz us later to see if we got it right. He loved nature and he cared deeply about the environment. In many ways, my mom was known more for the tree advocacy work. She, among others, helped start the National Tree Foundation and served as president for over 25 years. But my dad was in the background supporting her and supporting the important work that was being done. And after she passed away, he took up that work and, among other things, helped with Mayor Briley's launch of Root Nashville to plant over 500,000 trees. The idea that we plant trees now for our grandchildren to sit under. He would say that Nashville still has a long way to go, but that we should take pride in what has happened one tree at a time. On behalf of my 3 siblings and his 9 grandchildren, I want to thank the Metro Tree Advisory for honoring him with this award.
My father was Charles Cardwell, who served the city of Nashville for 60 years until his death in 2019. My father was born in South Nashville, and as a young adult, he worked at a family business where he learned the sense of community, the importance of people, and he learned a very important lesson of you reap what you sow. After he returned from the Navy, he went to work for the city of Nashville as an accounting clerk in the water department under then Mayor Ben West. The government was his community, and the people of metropolitan government and surrounding and all of Nashville was people he cared dearly for. He understood their worth. He understood everybody has a purpose, and we just need to put all of that together to make it work. My father worked to accomplish many things over his career in metropolitan government, but I didn't realize till after he had died that it wasn't the things that he had accomplished that made him the happiest. It was the people that he met along the way that made him the happiest.
My mother, my father, and my sister Carol moved to Nashville in 1949. And from that day, my mother, I think, had a great impact on the city. My mother is known as a dancer. She taught dance at Tennessee State University. She's known as a choreographer. She was very active in the community, very active as a civil rights leader. She was very quietly outspoken, very stern in her beliefs. And I would like to think that her efforts over her lifetime helped Nashville to grow and become a better city. My mother also loved the environment. She loved trees. If my mother were here today, she would be excited to have this tree planted in her name. It would be an extreme honor for her. And as humble as she is, I think that she would be showing a level of joy that is a little uncommon in her. My mother's the type of person who always feels that there's good in everyone, there's good in everything. And if there's anything we need to take from Carrie Gentry, yes, she was a dancer, yes, she was an educator, yes, she was a great mother, but she also was a person who believed in everybody, in everything, and believed that the good in mankind is going to always overtake anything that's bad in this country, in this nation, and in this city. And we should all live by that edict. And my sister and I, again, are very proud to be here today and to share in this wonderful moment as this tree has been planted in her name.
An effective environmental advocate, Ruth Neff made a difference in the nonprofit and state government sectors. As the first executive director of the Tennessee Environmental Council in 1970, she used her grant writing skills and research background to provide reliable information to regulators and legislators. Her reach went from cleaning up waterways, reducing air pollution, starting recycling programs, growing organic food, to reducing toxic materials in landfills. In 1984, she moved to state government and worked in environmental planning and policy for pollution prevention in Governor Lamar Alexander's administration. She later served on Governor Ned McWhorter's Environmental Policy Group for Hazard and Solid Waste Planning. For her work, she earned the informal title of Czarina of Trash.
Many Nashvillians remember our dad as an attorney of 63 years, the first vice mayor of metropolitan Nashville and Davidson County, an Army Reserve officer who achieved the position of Brigadier General, and as a Sunday school teacher. Others may remember Dad as a board member of multiple civic and charitable organizations, including the Nashville Tree Foundation. We also remember our dad as a lifelong learner who instilled in each of his children and grandchildren a sense of wonder and joy of nature. Dad was particularly proud of a paper that he delivered to the Old Oak Club in 1973. As a young member of this organization, his first subject was old oak trees in Davidson County. One of the more interesting trees, the biggest and oldest, was in this very park, just inside the front gate. Dad studied this tree by measuring its diameter and rings, and he determined that it was almost 238 years old. This was just one of many trees that Dad chronicled in his paper, and he presented to the Old Oak Club, and he remained a lifelong advocate for protecting these natural landmarks throughout Nashville. One of Dad's greatest joys through his life was the time spent in the outdoors. He experienced the wonder of creation in the outdoors with open and sensitive eyes, and he enthusiastically shared his love with family and friends. His commitment to the protection of our city's natural resources, including his service for the Nashville Tree Foundation, was a significant part of the many years of public service Dad devoted to our community. Our family is grateful for this opportunity to honor our father, George H. Cate Jr., and we appreciate Dad's being included in this celebration of 8 individuals who made such an incredible difference in our community. Thank you.
My grandfather has taught me and my cousins a lot about standing up for what's right and being able to speak your voice out about certain issues that this country faces. Being Black is always something that you should be proud of, and he's taught us a lot about us being proud of our skin.
To speak and remember Kwame Leo Lillard is to remember a tree. Trees provide shade, they provide comfort, they provide strength. Kwame Leo Lillard is rooted into this community and has invested his knowledge and pride through the African Street Festival, through serving as a civil servant, and through rigorously working his way as a freedom rider and a civil rights leader here in Nashville, Tennessee. Although he is missed, he is never and will never be forgotten. Arambe, he would say, community. Arambe.
Granddad moved to Nashville when he was 15 years old and lived here throughout his entire life until he passed away at 95. What brought Granddad to Nashville was his mother's work with the Red Cross, and I believe it was his mother that instilled in him a lifelong duty to give back to the city. My grandfather's most public civic endeavor was working on the Citizens for a Better Government to lead the fight for a unified government here in Nashville, and then also working with several other people to form the Metropolitan Charter that was adopted and is used today. My grandfather, in addition to his public activities, also had many private ways of giving back. He coached baseball and wrestling, was involved with the Boy Scouts and the Cub Scouts, and he also taught Sunday school for numerous decades. My grandfather always felt it was his duty to give back to the city of Nashville to make sure it remained a great place to work and to live. On behalf of my family, we would like to thank those that were involved in planting a tree in his memory, and we look forward to seeing it grow in the years ahead.
David Mcmurray was a bright and positive citizen who made a difference in the life of everyone he met. He was engaged in the Madison community and well known as an LGBTQ activist. He served on the board of the Human Rights Campaign, Historic Nashville, and as the president of the Madison Rivergate Chamber of Commerce. David was a force behind the Madison Renaissance and made bridges in the community out of love and kindness.
In addition to the 2019 memorial trees, we are dedicating a tree to honor one of Nashville's most active citizens who has worked tirelessly to plant, care for, and advocate for Nashville's trees, Tony Viglietti. In addition to organizing the Riverside Drive's flowering cherry tree plantings, Tony chairs the Metro Beautification and Environment Commission.
I'm Mayor John Cooper, and I'm excited to welcome you to Nashville's 2020-2021 virtual Arbor Day celebration. I'm so proud of the progress Nashville has made in recent years to grow and expand our tree canopy, and I'm grateful to those working to make Nashville a greener, cleaner city and a better place for all our residents. Arbor Day 2020 and 2021, in this Nashville celebration being held virtually due to the COVID-19 pandemic, it is to promote the proper planting and preservation of trees in our community and to encourage citizens to plant and care for trees for environmental enhancement. Nashville recognizes that trees are an essential part of the city's infrastructure, providing benefits including improving air and water quality, moderating temperatures, providing wildlife habitat, and enhancing the beauty and livability of Nashville's communities. And whereas Nashville will receive in 2021 its 26th Tree City USA designation, which recognizes Metro's Tree Advisory Committee, Tree Ordinance, and expenditures of $2 per capita on trees and official Arbor Day ceremony. And whereas the Arbor Day Foundation and the National Association of State Foresters have named the Nashville Electric Service a Tree Line USA utility for its efforts in quality tree care, tree planting, and public education programs. And the Arbor Day Foundation recognizes Belmont and Trevecca universities in 2020 and continues to recognize in 2021 Belmont University as a Tree Campus Higher Education USA for hosting a Campus Tree Advisory Committee, sustaining a healthy community forest, and by engaging students in the celebration of Arbor Day through service learning projects. And whereas, to celebrate Arbor Day, a variety of trees have been planted in 2020 in memory of Martin Brown, Charlie Cardwell, Carrie Gentry, and Ruth Neff. And in 2021, trees have been planted in memory of George Cate, Kwame Lillard, David Mcmurray, and Charlie Warfield. An honorary tree has been planted for Tony Vigiletti. Also, honorary trees have been planted in celebration of the 100th anniversary of the ratification of the 19th Amendment and recognition of the tremendous tornado tree replanting efforts by Metro Parks, Public Works and Tree Advisory Committee, Root Nashville, Nashville Tree Foundation, and the Nashville Tree Conservation Corps. Now therefore be it resolved that I, John Cooper, Mayor of Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, do hereby encourage citizens to join me in celebrating and preserving Nashville's trees as we come together for Arbor Day. I have hereunto set my hand on this, the 18th day of May, 2021. Signed, John Cooper.
On behalf of the Metro Beautification and Environment Commission and Tree Advisory Committee, thank you for participating in Nashville's Arbor Day celebration. We hope that you will participate in Root Nashville, our citywide campaign to plant 500,000 trees by 2050. Plant a tree, care for it, and go to rootnashville.org to map your tree so it will be counted. Again, thank you, and remember, trees make a difference.
As chair of the Root Nashville campaign through Nashville Health, I'd like to congratulate all the organizations and departments contributing to our citywide tree planting goal, planting trees in significant numbers, even over the course of the pandemic. As we continue to make progress in defeating COVID-19, we know now more than ever the importance of respiratory health, our breathing, our lungs. Fortunately, trees help us with this. Science shows that a healthy tree canopy is essential for a healthy community. We thank you for all your efforts this past planting season, and together we look forward to the next. Happy Arbor Day, Nashville, and stay safe and healthy by continuing to actively plant trees.